I think we're live. It looks like we're live. Okay. Is everybody ready? There's Ed Kelley. There's Andrew Rivers. We have Andrew Rivers as a special guest. We have Spike O'Neill as a special guest. We also have a guitar legend, an international guitar hero named Adam Baum. And he may not be a household name, but he's done some pretty cool stuff. And I actually remember this guy from back in our KISW days. What's weird is Zip, who's the guy who's in video production for a living, can't get his camera to work.
It's the mechanic's car that never runs well, right?
Adam Baum, who should only know how to plug in a guitar cord, was the first guy here with the video working perfectly.
And well.
And Andrew Rivers, of course, really looking like a potential member of a Guns N' Roses tribute band.
Yeah.
That hair keeps getting longer.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's a dream I had. I wished I had ever grown mine that long. I would have, however, been.
That's my old hair and my old apartment.
Is it really? That's funny.
Well, when I cut it, I'll make a wig for you so you can.
Yeah.
Oh, is the hair going to be sold? Is that the plan?
I don't know. I don't know if I have a specific plan. I want to make it to July because I'm gonna try and record another special in July because that'll be 2 years from when I recorded my last special. And then the hair will be literally a measurement of time. So I can look, because I can look back at old videos and go, oh, I've been telling that joke since right here. And now I'm down to here. I get some new stuff going.
Now, is part of this that you were always telling me that there were it's way more opportunities for female comedians now, and you wanted to from the back, you wanted them to think that maybe you deserved a break.
They, thems, any ambiguous racial, anything I can do to help the career.
The Bob and Zip Show with Nick Kelley.
All right, we're officially underway. Zip is not here yet, but assured me he'd be here any second. On the show today, here are the topics. The guaranteed foolproof way to lose an argument every time. Do this and you will fail. Bob and Lisa drive 500 miles to see the grandkids.
500 miles, 500
And I would
miles,
drive 500 miles.
And I would 500 more.
Zip wants to talk about things that used to be illegal that are increasingly becoming legal.
Especially in Canada. Vancouver, heroin, dens. You're allowed legally to bring your kit and cook. Under
Kit meaning
your heroin, your spoon.
Breaking Bad?
Yeah, as in, Jesse, we have a cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get to that when Zip gets on. The obvious ones are pot and gambling, which are now legal in more places. Are these changes good? What else is illegal that could be legalized? Brainstorm that one, folks, and you can text them to us anytime during the live broadcast. What should be legal that is not yet legal? And what's legal that maybe we should pull it back? Also, Ed Kelley met a lady in a thrift store. It's a fascinating story. We're going to get to that. Spike talks about how creativity won the day in SuperBowl ads. And what would Jesus say about his ad?
What would Jesus say?
Would he think it was worth $7 million? We'll find out. Special guest Adam Brenner, Adam Baum, that I mentioned earlier, international guitar hero. He's touring the U.S. and Europe and has a string of upcoming shows in Seattle. He is standing by. We'll get to him in a little bit. And then Spike should join us in 8 or 9 minutes. And Zip should already be here.
By the way, Adam Baum is a great rock name.
Oh, yeah. And it's ADAM, like Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
I'll bring this up. Did you, Andrew, you're a football fan. Did you watch the Super Bowl yesterday?
Yes, I did.
So even football fans watched it.
See that?
What did you think? I'm going to say first of the game, but then I'm going to say the commercials, because the game will be forgotten in a week. Commercials might last a month or so because they're going to keep playing them.
I didn't see any commercials that were breaking into the top of all time necessarily. It seemed like pretty ho-hum commercials. the game was very fun. Everyone's complaining about the referees,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
I
for sure
think
it
that they're right because I don't think they messed up the call, but I think the refs are getting too old.
And fat.
We have referees that are in their 23rd season. That's when
Ageism.
players retire.
You do know we can hear you if we turn up our hearing aids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we're asking them to officiate a very complicated game, and we
Yes.
change the rules mid-season. We change the rules every other season.
And
Old
people can't adapt, Bob. You know that.
I mean, this guy sets his watch to make sure he takes his medicine on time every night, and we need to make sure that this is the guy in charge of seeing if the red player was over the line by an inch
Well,
to determine a $1 billion play. I mean, this guy was in the league before black people could play sports. I'm just saying times have maybe changed.
I love the perspective he brings.
All right.
I mean, they need to look when there's like an important play, they run over and they have to stop, but they have to break up fights. And we're asking our grandpa to play a security guard.
Those guys could
they
kill
run
them.
like they played. They run like the players will run in 20 years when their hips are dislocated from high impact collisions 20 times a day.
Yeah, no
But
kidding.
you don't really notice it until you see them try to waddle to the ball and
They've got a high ankle injury.
So just as there is for airline pilots, you think there should be a mandatory retirement age for the referees?
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we haven't had one of those guys collapse on the field. You know, someone get the card out. The referee threw out his back, picking up a challenge flag.
He swallowed his whistle.
Andrew probably didn't even watch the commercials. Did you watch the commercials?
A little bit. You know what I do? My new I bought a weighted vest, and I have a pull-up bar so that when I'm sedentary, every time there's a commercial, which is about 8 to 10 minutes, every 8 to 10 minutes or so, I just get up and I do 10 pull-ups, and then by the end of the game, I've done 150 pull-ups, and trying to stay in shape over here.
Sedentary.
Well,
That's 4 syllables. That's unusual. For you.
Hey,
Let's bring on someone who can't do one pull-up and probably did watch the commercials. Oops. Oh, he just cut out. I had Spike there for just a second. All right, he'll be back. So there were a number of commercials that were, I agree with you, Andrew, that for the most part,
Underwhelmed.
it was kind of lackluster. Yeah.
Steve Martin, though, and what's his name?
Oh, look at you, Spike. You got to turn your phone sideways. This is live. You're not. Your audio isn't working.
He sounds like a Martian.
You sound like a Martian. Yeah.
Yeah, a little robotic there. Yeah.
Are you using the same earbuds you always use? Hooked up the same way?
That's weird.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something really stupid. Reboot your phone. Do a hard reboot. We'll see you in a few minutes. Bye. It fixes 99%.
I know.
Of,
Look, if you want to earn some extra money, I'm sure Comcast is looking for new phone operators, and you appear to have the same training as they do.
Sure.
So.
All right. Well, he'll be back. He's going to talk about what he thought was creative. I'll tell you what I thought. There was one ad that, only one ad that was memorable to me.
Which one?
It was the ad that basically imagined what the world would be like if one different thing had happened at the beginning of civilization, the beginning of humanity. Now, Andrew was busy doing pull-ups. By the way, I totally think that's brilliant that you use the commercial time to better yourself. And
well, they're putting ice cream and Snickers bars and alcohol and Budweiser. You know, it's like
yeah.
everything I can do to combat that negativity coming through my screen.
No, it's funny. Like they're going to advertise stuff that's bad for me. I'm just going to do pull-ups.
Yeah.
So this was an ad. I'll give you a hint, and maybe no one else but me loved it. It was an ad for something that's good for you.
Well, it can't be the U2 album.
Wasn't gambling.
Was it gambling? It wasn't an electric car that's not coming out for 2 years.
Jesus? Was it Jesus? Was it the Jesus ad?
I would argue that
Or is it
Jesus is
debatable.
Yeah, I would argue that Jesus is good for you. I wouldn't argue that he was behind the branding.
Okay.
Yes.
It was an ad for guacamole. Did anybody remember seeing it?
See, in Canada, you get a different set of ads. You don't get all the same buy.
I thought the Super Bowl was all nationally.
International.
Well, there are local Super Bowl ads even in Vermont. The local Vermont telephone company would buy. So there are local avails. But I think, well, the national ads, are you saying internationally you don't see the big ads?
I'm saying that we get Canadian national ads.
Oh, no kidding. All right, this ad was for guacamole. And it was, I assume, paid for by Mexico because they saved all that money on the wall.
He said acerbically.
Where's your bell? You got to get your bell.
Oh, I do have the bell. Yeah, what about that old bell?
You deserve a bell ring.
Anyway,
You're
the
not
ad
going to
for,
get your bell rung tomorrow night, so you might as well.
Some guys got them rung last night at that game.
it was it was an Adam and Eve thing. Remember where Eve took a bite out of the apple, and it was what if she had taken a bite out of a guacamole instead, and then they
an avocado.
avocado. I'm sorry,
Yes.
a guacamole. It's the same vegetable. And the answer was that we'd all be naked,
Again.
and we'd have no shame, and New York was going to be called the Big Avocado.
That's brilliant. Actually.
And by the way, they didn't get this in,
Yeah.
but it would have been the avocado halftime show.
Right.
And Adam Bomber would be talking to us from his avocado phone.
That's right.
I just thought it was brilliant, and it was for something healthy.
Did you see Steve Martin and Ben Stein
No.
for Pepsi?
Steve Martin was funny.
He was. I thought that was a good ad.
This is the thing about the commercials now. There's so many of them that, I mean, ever since the Budweiser frogs,
Yeah.
I just don't remember them all. I remember the
They
one.
play them before they play them now on the internet, but they come out before the Super Bowl so that they can get a little buzz going, and you know, so sometimes you're not that surprised. You're kind of it ruins the moment because you already caught a sneak peek of it.
I knew one of the frogs, the Budweiser frogs. He was on the SAG board with me from New York. I'm sure it financed his apartment.
Wow,
in Manhattan.
that's cool. Yeah. All right. So, the Big Avocado. It's my favorite setting. I don't like avocados.
Really?
No, I don't.
They're down to 50
Well,
cents a piece.
you know,
Come on.
they're now being controlled by the cartels
That's
in
true.
Mexico. So
They're putting fentanyl.
yeah,
the avocados.
Well,
So full of crap. Rivers. He's,
Hey.
You know he's going to use that line, right?
Oh, Andrew? No,
no,
he
I
hates my
don't-
jokes. Are you kidding? Hold on, Andrew. Pull my finger. I'm not, I am not cool. All right. Well, I think Spike may actually have rebooted, and we might have audio. Gotcha?
I'm still working my phone.
Oh, man.
Go plug this into a computer and use the camera, okay?
Put down the
Shouldn't
helium.
be that
By the way,
complicated.
this is the phone, right? You can't mess up the phone.
Yeah, you
why don't you just take out your earbuds and turn them off? And then we'll just have you talking into the phone. Sometimes the primitive thing is the best.
Yeah.
You got to undo the earbuds. Dude, that's funny. I want to say hi to our web developer, whose nickname is Kitty Wrangler. There's David.
It's not my nickname. It's just what I have to do.
Yeah.
We call it herding cats to get everybody on the show. Spike, turn your phone sideways.
It doesn't go landscape.
Thank you for that.
So you get it all in, right?
There we
Yeah.
go.
All right,
Now we
you're
got the
there.
audio.
Can
Okay.
you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's fine. We talked about the guacamole ad, which was my favorite. What was
Anna Faris.
what was your creativity ad that won?
Well, Anna Faris was the star, local girl here in Seattle,
Okay.
right? Anna Faris was the star in that guacamole ad. And the thing was that once they ate
Wait a minute.
guacamole-
Were you talking about the same ad I was?
the guacamole ad, first one of the night,
Yeah.
it was right after Ben Affleck and J-Lo selling Dunkin' Donuts.
But we both liked the same ad.
Well, that wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
But you're talking about Anna Faris. The gist of that ad was if they ate an avocado instead of the apple,
Yeah.
then we didn't need clothes anymore. Everybody's running around naked. The entire planet was naked. And life was better with avocados. That was the whole gist.
Well, Anna
Nobody caught
Faris
that.
is better naked. That's for
I
damn
heard
sure.
that. You and me both. It looks like the inside of an avocado. I get it. Now,
Okay.
you
You're
for
reaching
me,
up for the gutter now, Spike.
there you go. Now, for me, in the way of creativity, because the whole gist of the ads in the Super Bowl yesterday
Yeah.
was that you had to have a guest star. You had to have star power.
Yeah.
It was Ben Affleck and J Lo. It was
Diddy.
Bradley Cooper, Ben Stiller, Steve Martin. You name it. Everybody had a star in their ad.
Face actors.
Yes. It was it was the death of the everyman actor.
Yeah.
Was yesterday's Super Bowl, right?
Animation, same thing.
But the one ad that everybody's talking about today was Tubi.
Tubi.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where it took over control of your TV. Right? Everybody in the world reached for their remote or yelled at their spouse during that ad. They didn't have to pay any Hollywood superstars. Nobody had to create blue steel.
Our web developer disappeared. Hang on a second.
Right.
He hates being on TV, so I just want to say hi again. That's Dave, who makes this all possible. And if you can imagine doing a 5-camera TV show with a budget of 0 and relying and begging a friend to help you, that's the friend.
And
Look
some,
at the
some clan dip who can't use
Look at
earbuds.
his
It's
beautiful Wyoming mountain chalet there. Look at the
Isn't
view
that
from his
something?
back porch. It's freaking incredible. All right.
It's amazing.
And his
is
wife
nothing-
Nancy is a sweetheart too. All right.
Nothing has flown by in 30 minutes. What's the deal?
Everything's been shot down. Did you miss it?
It's actually at a specific time zone where there's an eternal sunset going on.
Okay.
It's always sunset. All right, David, see you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Your point was that the Tubi ad was the low budget. It was the equivalent of South Park in terms of artistic animation creation. It was simple, easy, cheap, and it was the most effective.
And some kid from the mailroom came up with that shit. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody in the country reached for their remote control at the exact same time yesterday. It was hilarious.
I didn't because I went, well, first off, I'm lazy.
Yeah.
There's that.
I was like, well, what's happening? I can't reach that fast anymore. And I was like, wait a minute. I did do wait a minute. Is this a commercial? And even when it was a commercial, I was still not quite sure. It was like someone changed the channel.
Yeah.
But I immediately, because I know how hard it is to get me to watch a commercial, I immediately said, well, if this is a commercial, this is a pretty creative idea.
Yeah.
And it was. Yeah. And is that going to make you watch Tubi?
Oh no.
Then it's not effective. That's a
But
failure. Epic fail.
none of these commercials are going to make me buy anything. I don't think so. How about the Blue Moon beer commercial? Did you see that one in Canada, Ed?
I did. That was weird that they plugged 2 other beers, except at the very end said no. And the 2 were like, it's like, why are these 2 beers important and why are they talking about each other? And there was no, it was a Blue Moon commercial.
They spent $7 million to spend 28 seconds saying Miller Lite and Coors Light. Miller Lite, Coors Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light. Oh no, Blue Moon for 1 second.
Yeah,
Really?
I thought it was stupid too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell are you people talking about?
Influencing.
But let me say something about Tubi because you're a liberal elitist,
Snowflake,
and I have
foot soldier.
and I have subscriptions to lots of premium channels.
I get YouTube and Hulu and Disney Plus and Paramount Plus. I get them all.
You get them all. I do too.
We spend every stupid penny we don't have for we don't need.
But the deal about Tubi is it's for people that can't afford another subscription. It's free, right, with advertising, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And so what has happened is these premium channels pave the way for breaking up the cable monopoly and unbundling cable. And we thought, we're going to win now. And now we have 8 subscriptions. And along comes the idea, which I think is a brilliant idea, not for me, of making people watch commercials again, because really that's where the money is made.
Yep.
And the reason the Super Bowl costs 7 minutes is even though I tape delay some NFL games,
Yep.
I want to feel like I'm watching it in real time with the world.
Yeah.
And they've branded it that the commercials are interesting, although they better start living up to it. Anyway, so the Tubi thing to a lot of people is wonderful. It's free TV that I don't have to pay for. And here in America, where we're making more and more poor people
Yes.
and fewer middle-class people,
Yes.
those poor people are going to love McHale's Navy if they missed it the first time.
Somebody told me they make like 18-minute versions of movies. Is that true?
Oh.
They show like shortened versions, like Reader's Digest versions
that-
of movies.
But Spike, that's true of a lot of movies when they move over to television. They re-edit the hell out of them.
Well, Blazing Saddles is like 7 minutes, right? Because they cut out the rude parts.
Yeah. Well, Andrew has experience with that. He was on these, what was it called? Dry bar comedy specials.
Yeah.
And dry bar. The Mormons actually have versions of. I'm gonna steal your joke because it's really old and stale, and I might as well say it instead of you. They would cut out all the nudity, say in Game of Thrones, and they would have a 6-minute version of Game of Thrones. It'd be fantastic.
There's a whole service that does that for Christian families as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cleans up all
So
the dirty
my
words.
idea is we need a Netflix for liberals. You know, we need a version because I was watching a movie the other day and like a canceled actor popped up on the screen and it kind of ruined the vibe because you're thinking about the shitty things that the guy did.
I know who you're
know.
talking about. I know
You're
who
like,
you're
no,
talking
Kevin
about.
Spacey is
Yeah,
a love
yes.
interest. It just doesn't really make sense anymore.
Yeah.
And so you need a thing that says like what they got canceled for and then decide whether, possession
Yeah,
of
I get it.
cocaine and you're like, oh, that's fine, you know.
Here's,
and then-
Andrew, I got
Pedophile.
it. What you do is you call it the Snowflake Network. And if he's just canceled for like one thing, it's just a couple sprigs. But if he's really bad, it's like 1,000 little snow,
Yeah. Yeah. So
All right, you guys.
Take
You
the
guys are
peacock and
smart,
remove
but
the
you're not
feathers.
quite. You're not quite catching up to AI technology. What you do is you click on his face and you substitute an actor who's totally woke that you like instead.
You know what? With AI, there's not going to be any real actors anyway. They're gonna-
Let's welcome
Bradley
Zip.
Cooper's making all Mel Gibson's movies again, right? And all Russell Crowe movies are all now Bradley Cooper.
Let's welcome Zip Zip Fell, the one guy in our group who professionally does video for a living,
That's
who couldn't get his camera to work.
Thanks a lot.
You're on
Is
the-
it working? How does it look?
Now everybody's got technical problems today. You're on the computer microphone now. You got to select your microphone.
Yeah.
Let
Go
me
the
know when
real
you're
mic.
ready. I'll bring you back.
Wait a minute, hang on.
All right, we all got to be perfect before Adam Bomb comes on because he's the bomb and he's got his stuff together. Okay,
Hey, I know you guys talked about the football game itself before I got here.
a little bit, yeah.
The biggest debate we had today on because I did the midday show here today. I did from 9 to 12, and I'll be on again tonight from 7 to 10.
You were working massive triple shifts, yeah.
Well, the debate we had was not whether that was a bad call or not. Okay, the debate we had was because it was a good call. It was a hold, but it was like doing 55 in a 50 zone.
Yeah, it was exactly that is exactly. So it was a hold in the very last minute of the game that didn't
Right.
give Philadelphia a chance to try and come back.
Exactly. So and
Okay.
so the debate was, do you make that call when the game is on the line?
No.
And there's
Most-
people who say no, and I'm like, wait a minute. If it's a foul in the top of the first, it's a foul in the bottom of the ninth. Just not just
Andrew
because
would
there's more
agree.
drama.
Yeah.
When at that moment doesn't mean the severity of the call. That's what I have a problem with.
All
You
we
can't-
cry about is the consistency of the officiating, right? Well, it's a call when they do it, but when they don't do it, and so you've got to call it evenly, no matter what the situation is.
And that's the thing. Last night they let the game just play out. They really didn't take control of the game from the officiating perspective all game long until there's 90 seconds left in the fucking game.
Would you like a solution to this problem?
Younger refs, Andrew nailed it. That was brilliant.
Yeah,
No.
I've got one for you. Meet your new ref, Chat GPT.
Yeah. It's true. No, but they've got more angles. They've got more angles on the play than we do. So you got to give them some benefit.
AO, artificial officiating. I like it.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I mentioned we're going to have Adam Baum on in a little while. He's a. Do you remember Adam Baum?
Yeah, of course.
You do. Okay.
TKO,
Well, he was in
man.
TKO. He's literally not a household name, but a really international guitar sensation. We actually have a clip from him that we ripped off of MTV or what is YouTube or whatever. YouTube is modern MTV, by the way. And the song has the F word in it. And I wanted to mention to you, Spike, we had Downtown Joe on last week, and it was such a pleasure. And he's going to come on every other week. And he had one request, which I actually do want to honor.
That I don't cuss.
That none of
nobody
us,
cusses.
none of
Yeah.
us say the F word because
Because of
he's a
he's a
teacher of high
teacher. I
school
get it.
students. And initially,
He's what they call a groomer, Bob. Groomer.
yeah, it's grooming them to not be souls. So
I have total respect.
I think we should do what Jamie does on the Ted Lasso show. We should just go fa.
Yeah. Let's just insult the Vietnamese. Fa!
His job is on the line, though, literally.
Yeah,
No, I totally hear what you're saying. I completely respect what you're saying.
So we're gonna do that. All right, let's bring Zip fella on. Zip, do we have a microphone?
Yay!
Zip,
I
you
hope
old
so.
fuck!
Can you? Oh,
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Let's get right to your topic because
all right.
I thought it was a good one. There's been a development in Massachusetts where Massachusetts is going to have something that we have in spades here in Las Vegas. They're going to have gambling. And
Has it got involved witches again? You guys going back for witches?
legalized betting.
Gonna burn 'em.
legalized gambling. And are they going big? Are they going multiple casinos?
Sports betting,
or-
Yeah. Kind of off-track betting.
Well, no,
Sports
they've it's at sports book is what's coming. Yeah,
okay.
Is it
like
your phone?
within weeks now. Yeah.
Okay. But so what is sports? Andrew, I know you could answer this.
Yeah, however you want to access.
However, so is it on your phone, on an app, in a casino? How does this work?
Everywhere you want it to be. Pretty
Same
soon
deal.
there are going to be
It's
like legalized
basically
gambling
across the
centers
board.
in the stadium.
Yeah.
Okay. Legalized gambling in the stadium?
You
They're
can
gonna-
from your phone now if you want to. Mid-game.
The app is only allowed in certain states for now, but
Right.
we're when the state sees the amount of revenue that brings in, whether it's good or bad for society, that'll be to judge 30 years down the lane. Whoops.
If you've
But,
got a gambling card, call 1-800 screw
Yeah,
college
exactly.
for your kids.
No, but
Yeah.
you could have bet, Bob, last night on the color of Rihanna's dress. Seriously.
A popular one every Super Bowl is how long the national anthem will go.
Right.
It's an
Right.
over
By the
under
way,
bet.
I lost last night's prop bet on the length of the national anthem.
You did. Okay.
The over-under was 95 seconds. He went a minute. He went 106 seconds last night.
I heard about that bet. Okay. So, Zip, is this upsetting to you? Did you feel that Massachusetts, with its Puritan heritage and history, was hanging on to some values that the rest of the country was losing?
Yeah. No, I was bemoaning the fact that, like, when I was going to college, it was the whole deal was, man, academics. And, like, if you had decent academics, you had the privilege of being able to play sports. And now it's just been so soiled by the almighty dollar.
So,
And
you mean
it's-
you mean college sports will be able to be bet on as well, and there's a potential for some corruption?
There's empty bags and cats all over the room.
Well, but it just became the money funnel for alumni and the whole deal, and just keeping the coffers full.
Mitch
The
wrote a
hell
great
with
book.
education. It's all about yeah.
Read the Fab Five by Mitch Albom. It's a great book that has all the insights.
It's about Michigan's basketball team. Yeah,
Yes.
it is
Yeah.
great.
And
I will say it
and-
makes watching sports a little more entertaining because you have a little more skin in the game. You see a big hit and then
that's-
it pops up on your phone like, will this player get up or not? And you're like, go, I'm voting yes.
The
I'm voting.
But Bob, it's back to dopamine lollipops, is it not? That's what they're using.
yeah, and Ed, you got it. Basically, with social media and the interconnected way in which we all live, looking for those shots of dopamine of feeling connected, like us even live with a listener who says F asterisk asterisk K, yeah. Yeah, I mean, ordinary gambling, ordinary sports watching it has to compete with TikTok. It has to compete with all of the different ways, all of the different things that are vying for our attention. You're absolutely right.
But it wasn't pandemic level, but we had the perfect storm where everybody was stuck indoors, and that's when it created the market for everybody to gamble on their phone because the casinos were all empty. And then you had Gretzky, and you had every celebrity, hawking and whoring themselves out to these.
Yep.
Gretzky doesn't need that endorsement money.
The pandemic accelerated because
Yeah.
it was you and your phone in your house. The
perfect storm.
pandemic accelerated all the ways that phone could get its hooks in you.
Yeah, yeah. And
I think sports betting is the next opioid addiction.
it's insidious. It really is. And guys,
It is.
guys
And
lose
when
families,
you-
marriages.
When you
houses.
can whiz away your kids' college
Yeah.
fund sitting next to them on the couch and they don't know it's a problem, we got a bigger problem.
Yeah, and that's why
You know,
they're
with drugs and alcohol, you can see daddy sweat. Well, when the game's a 2-point spread and they're kicking a field goal that they don't need, daddy's sweating just as hard, and you're going to community college.
yeah, if you get
Well,
there, if you have a car.
On the plus side, some of you will be able to get into better schools than you could before.
And some of you will go on to be great comedians or musicians because your parents were failures. You know, it works out either way.
Yeah.
What-
not
what your
everybody
take- I had this take this morning on sports betting.
Yeah.
It's just one more way for us to screw over the Native American community.
All right. Quick.
Hey, we were giving the country back $1 at a time with this tribal casino
They
thing,
competitive,
and now
yeah.
we're taking that from them too.
I see. We're screwing them over by taking away the thing that we gave them.
We gave them back the last time. We screwed them over for the lands. We gave them the casinos. Now we're screwing them out of that too.
I see it. Okay, bonus round on this topic.
Okay.
What else is currently illegal that could be legalized?
Buggery.
What is buggery? I don't know what it is.
Necrophilia?
Hold on. No. All right, put a little thought into it.
Rear entry. It's a Greek.
Oh man,
That's illegal?
I think it is in some
Yeah.
states.
are you
All
coming to us live from Texas?
Let's say it's not enforced. Let's very often, as far as I know.
Yes.
No, think about it. What else is illegal? I got a couple ideas, and maybe this will be a thought starter. All other drugs are, currently illegal, and in some countries where they're legalized, there's less of a problem and better education and more treatment. Here's one for you that is going to sound like it shouldn't be legalized: speeding.
No, that was exactly what I was going to bring up. I was wishing there would be an Autobahn in
But
in
if you
Detroit.
hadn't gone right for the buggery, you would have had that. All right.
Guilty as charged.
You want to do the speeding one, or you want to hear my rationale?
No, go ahead.
All right. Currently, we have speeding limits that are not enforced and that are not practical to enforce. Currently, we have insurance.
That is.
What is happening more and
Buggery.
more is to everything you have is that the technology knows exactly what you're doing, how you're doing it, when you're doing it, where you're doing it. You simply pay, your insurance rate is based on how you drive. No need for laws. If you want to, if you're super safe and you want to go a little faster, it's like when I use water here out in the desert. If I use above a certain amount, I pay 3 times as much for the water. Yeah. So if you pay to play, now granted, you might kill another family, which is always brought up.
I mean, just dump some chemicals in the river and pay a fine. Why
That's right,
bother
exactly.
doing
Well,
the
they-
right thing when you can just pay away your problem?
We have that already. It's called what do they call those
Capitalism,
credits?
yeah.
No. We
Carbon
have that
credits.
carbon credits. We do have that already.
I know.
And so I guess what I'm saying is there's this thought that behavior you could have laws that are impossible to enforce, or you can realistically make it very difficult to do the wrong thing. That's the thought. Can anybody think of another one?
Well, here in Canada, Bob, women can legally walk around shirtless, smoking a joint.
Of course,
That
it's
is
12
not-
below zero, and it's
In Seattle, same, except you must wear flannel. So it's there's a perfect harmless one that hurts nobody. Why is the female breast illegal? And by the way, there's no requirement that you have to expose it.
Free the
Nudity.
hostages, I say.
All right, and by the way, we're going to take, since none of us are being that creative, we'll take yours. And maybe we're just not daring enough to say some of these things. Just text us, what do you think is illegal now that should not be illegal? Nudity is a perfect one. When I was a kid at a high school assembly, during the time of a very famous novelty record called The Streak.
Yeah.
The whole school was assembled. Some of the coolest kids in school, probably 8 or 10 of them, both sexes, streaked across the school stage. And they were thought of as very cool. I believe they had to do some detention or, whatever it was. The car insurance rates didn't go up.
But something went up.
I remember thinking, what a weird species we are. I mean, there's no other species that requires covering up. And, of course, it's because they took a bite out of the apple instead of the guacamole.
Yeah, back to the avocado ad.
Yeah, the avocado. I call it a guacamole because I'm stupid. I'm really stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I think about that too. I mean, especially with the Super Bowl, with Janet Jackson's titty popped out. She got blackballed from the industry and all these things. And it's like, that's what we're playing football for, is to see a great pair of nipples in the first place.
According to the beer commercials.
Yeah. So we want to get some money so we can buy a nicer car, so we can buy a bigger house and more nipples. That's the whole point of life.
Yeah. All right. Nudity is good. Mushrooms. That comes into the drug category. Drugs would be about education. I mean, people want drugs, they're going to get drugs.
You think cannibalism's going to make the list?
No.
Okay, just checking.
No.
But finding your boundaries.
But back to the drugs, though.
That's murder. Yeah, so murder is probably a little. We have to draw the line somewhere. Yeah.
MDMA, Bob, was originally developed as an antidepressant by the pharmaceutical industry. Mm-hmm. And then they just made it illegal, even though it was perfectly effective. And now it's being mixed in with every other drug that's killing kids because it's not being done in labs. That should be legal, and it should be prescribed to those that need it, in my humble opinion.
I think so, too. Okay.
Want to hear a stupid law Washington is going to pass?
Yes, I do.
They're actually proposing legal jaywalking anywhere, including freeways.
Yeah. There's a perfect example. We don't have time to enforce jaywalking. Cars enforce it really well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but there are no second offenses.
Yeah, that's right. That's a perfect example. I mean, look, we have congressmen, and what do? They constantly make laws. They hardly ever unmake them.
Yeah.
And
they're
sure.
from the 30s and
so you want to repeal Social Security as well? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't think so.
Sunset.
Yeah, that's into politics. That's a government program we pay into. That's probably poorly run, but we pay into it. So
they keep kicking the can.
I think once I croak, I don't care what happens. And by the way, when they change Social Security, Andrew, you should know this. When they change Social Security, they don't change it for me or Spike or Ed or anybody who can see the age of 65 with a telescope. They change it for you, my son. They'll say, well, when Andrew gets to be 65, let's make the age 83.
Well, thanks to your carbon credits, the world's not going to be around in 20 more years. So,
by the way, these are not my carbon credits. That is one I would repeal. Actually, I would.
What about Chinese balloons, Bob? How do you feel about those?
I always think it's I'm a potential conspiracy theory type of person. I always think we're being manipulated by our official government propaganda because that's what all governments do. And the fact that this has just become a story now as we are entering a new Cold War phase, it almost feels like it's very well coordinated between us and China. We're like, hey, throw up some weather balloons. We'll shoot them down. Let's distract people from what we're really negotiating about.
They're ginning things up for the industrial military complex.
Yeah, and I could be wrong. I have absolutely no facts to back that up. But the government does not tell us what they find in these balloons or what they know before they shoot them down.
Picked a bad week to open a drone store, didn't I?
Good word. All right. Let's do yours, Ed, because this is really funny. Ed meets a lady in a thrift store, and we got to get to Adam Baum soon. By the way, he's standing by. Is Adam still there? Oops, did we lose him?
Is Eve still there?
He's gone right now, and I hope he comes back.
He's watching this like, I'm not getting any
maybe he
promotion.
quit. Maybe he quit our show.
He heard the topics.
He begged you to come
Hold
on
on.
the show, and then he watched 5 minutes, and he was like, you know what? Never mind.
Oh man, these guys
Necrophilia, what the hell's wrong with you people?
buggery.
I did not mention either of those two.
Buggery.
All right, let's get Adam back here. Hold on a second. I don't know how to get him back. Hey, whoops. He won't let me put him on. Hey, Kitty Wrangler, could you find Adam Baum's email and get him back?
He's been in and out. He's popped in and popped out. I think he's been playing with his camera, trying to get the
Oh,
Fascinating.
okay.
right look.
All right. As soon as he's back, I want to get him back on because
He's trying to look like Andrew.
yeah, he's going to be fun.
Tell him it's an OnlyFans channel. He'll get on.
Yeah. I just want to make sure we get to everything we had here. Okay, guaranteed foolproof way to lose an argument every time. I've been thinking about this because I'm married to Andrew's mom. And we are
A weird way to put it. That's fine.
well, we are it's a nickname we give ourselves, and Ed knows this, Zip knows this, and I don't know if Spike has this in his relationship too. I maintain it's probably in the majority of relationships, but we're open and honest with how we are. We nickname ourselves the Bickersons.
Okay, yeah.
Do you remember the comedy team of the
Yes,
Bickersons?
from the 40s, or was it the 50s?
Yeah, it's like 40s, 50s.
Yeah,
it was this couple that used to fight all the time.
all the time.
And they were vicious, but you could tell they loved each other because it was a comedy group. And so at some point, earlier on in our
The honeymooners.
relationship- the honeymooners are another Bickersons couple.
Every
Absolutely.
couple, the Flintstones, the Honeymooners,
To
Oscar
the
and
moon,
Felix.
Alice. Yes,
Oscar
yes.
and Felix. Come on.
Stop, Oscar and Felix. Stop.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? What do you think that meant?
Speaking of buggery,
Yeah. So here I am. We've been married 41 years, and I'm sick of. I mean, even though we always make up and we totally love each other, I'm sick of arguing. And I'm always. It's like a puzzle. It's like one of those crossword puzzles that you could work on for 6 weeks and you still can't get the windmill. All the pieces look the same. And every time I think I've figured her out or figured out how to short circuit an argument, I always lose. She pushes my button, and by the way,
Yeah. She
I
knows what-
also push her buttons.
Yeah.
I just don't know or see it that's exactly what I'm doing. And so,
she knows where all of yours are. Yeah.
oh yeah.
Sorry.
So how
That's
to
how I
lose
was
an argument?
made.
Yeah. So I just wanted everybody to contribute what they have to this because getting along, by the way, and by the way, this relates to politics and it relates to our divisive society because
Yeah.
I believe that the buttons we push to divide each other are very much a part of our DNA and our culture and our survival instincts. And our desire for fame or being right or even being seen on social media and being appreciated is all part of wanting to be loved. And yet we take a lot of detours.
Yeah.
So I just got a couple of things. And by the way, I'll forget these next week. I'll be screwing up big time. But
That's okay.
do this and you will fail every time in an argument. Try to put the other person down. Every time. If you try to put someone down, like, you shouldn't do... So the three phrases I wrote, you never blank, you always blank, and you should blank. All three of those phrases are death. And if you could catch... Here's the problem. I realize it right after I say it, but if you could,
Right.
if you could realize it if you had a thing here that went, wait,
The music of the night.
yeah. So anyway, it's and I'll work on this till the day I croak, but it's really interesting to see in any human being that if you attack someone, they're going to get defensive.
Yes.
And I'll apply this to politics too. we get nowhere.
Almost any interpersonal relationship. The reason you put
Yeah.
other people down is to make yourself feel better or to heighten your own, status.
Is it to make yourself feel better, or is it because you don't feel that good about yourself and you want to bring them down with you?
Well, that too, but the old saying was, anytime you point a finger at somebody, there's three more pointing back at you. It's cliche, but
Yeah.
it's also very, very true. And Stephen A. Covey had a great in his audiobook that I listened to, had a great phrase. He said, "Seek first to understand, then to be understood." And if more of us did that, there'd be more center.
Well, that's the pause before you speak.
Yeah.
Before you say the thing, you go.
Try and get your partner to do that.
Yeah. So, by the way, I've failed miserably at this. Doesn't work. Can't do it. So, when you screw, so the second half of this is when you screw up, here's how you may sometimes rescue yourself. Anybody interested?
I'm sorry.
No.
No?
No.
No.
Total bad branding, manipulative, clearly see through it. Also, you have just shown weakness.
So what?
Well, you're not married to Andrew's mom.
Okay, that's true.
Keep us up, there'll be a lot more of that going around.
See, Andrew, that was called a setup, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I love my son. He's such a brilliant comedian, and I learned from him. This is something I told my son Keith the other day. I'm at the age now where I just watch my kids and go, "Oh yeah," because I used to be creative. So here's how you rescue yourself.
He reminds me so much of you. You can't imagine how
Oh,
much.
I'll bet. Anyway, so if I screw up and say something that I go, "Oh shit, I just pulled out a gun and inflated her resentment," right? It's an air gun.
Yeah, of course.
And now what do I do? Because now she's got a legitimate beef with me. And what do I say when we're in an argument? So I have this thing I've been saying for the last year or two. Sometimes it works. I just say,
I'm having a stroke.
spoil the tender moment.
That's okay.
On the board again, Spike.
Hearing aids, hold on.
Yeah.
Actually, it's I just look at her and I go, you know what? I don't want to do anything but love you right now, and I'm sort of stuck, and I don't know how to do that. Life's too short. I just don't want to. I don't want to fight about anything, and so I'm just going to give up and say I'm sorry, and but not sorry. I shouldn't use sorry. Sorry is weakness. That's like the dragon exposing its underbelly in front of a spear. It's just not.
So you're saying replace the F word with the word love.
Yeah.
Right? Love you. Go love yourself.
Yeah. I think if you just stop in the middle of anything and you just tell someone you love them, and that's why I kind of like that Jesus commercial yesterday, although I hate, what is it, Hobby Lobby that paid for the Jesus commercial?
Yeah, I don't care for the.
It'd be like you're impersonating Jesus.
I had the worst line of the day today.
Okay.
My winter partner said, I can't believe they didn't spend $20 million to feed people. And I said, at least they weren't spending $20 million on covering up priests.
To what?
At least they didn't spend $20 million covering up priests.
That we know of.
And then the GM walks by the window of the studio.
Yeah.
Like,
All right.
like, Jesus gets us, usually right after the priest did.
All right, we're going to bring on Adam Baum in a few minutes because he's been patiently waiting, and he's the headliner, he's the highlight. But first, just quickly, Lisa and I drove 500 miles to see the grandkids this weekend, and we ate at a Chili's for the first time in our lives. And I just want to say this: we actually liked it. As fast food restaurants go, it was good.
Is it fast food?
Yeah,
Chili's?
it's a chain.
It's a chain.
It's a chain, but I don't know.
It's not super fast, but it was 20.
I mean, is Applebee's considered fast food? I mean,
that's what Chili's is like to me. Applebee's.
It's like it. Applebee's,
the steak
Chili's.
is $11. Like it's not.
It's fast food if a steak is $11. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did want to say this, and this was magical. An amazing waitress can make any restaurant wonderful.
Absolutely. Make or break.
And this waitress seriously, if you remember the Supertramp album cover, Breakfast in
do.
America,
Yep.
that was her smile. That was her demeanor. And she instantly become great friends with us. And I'm like, you work at Chili's and you're this happy.
Yeah.
When
I was young, it seemed that I was just like Andrew. Oh, I was just so happy to like you too.
It was awesome. And we were only there a half hour. And in that time, the Tesla charged. We were halfway to California.
There it is.
And Lisa was like, it's charged already? I said, yeah, we had some boneless chicken wings. By the way, the term boneless chicken wing.
Yeah. Viagra should team up with them.
That's just a crazy term.
For an endorsement deal.
But anyway, it was great. And we went and, oops. And I got to see my granddaughters, and Keith had a back spasm, so he wasn't going to be able to go to the daddy-daughter dance. And I couldn't do it, but I chauffeured him and went and watched, 5 and 8-year-olds dance.
Yeah.
And you know what songs they danced to?
Thong song?
Dong, 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 dong. I don't think so.
Well, there were kids' songs that I didn't know that they knew all the words to, and they're all jumping up and down singing. But really, what blew my mind is they were dancing to AC/DC. And this is a church daddy-daughter dance, and I'm watching them dance, and I'm listening.
I'll way to hell if you don't go to church every Sunday.
It's kind of
They were ringing hell's bells.
well. This is almost. I mean, the truth is almost worse. I'm watching them dance, and I'm here. She told me to come, but I was already there.
Took me all night long.
It's a dance song that will be here in 1,000 years. They also dance to all the single ladies.
Oh, the single ladies.
But here's the one that totally blew my mind. Neil Diamond's "Sweet Caroline."
Yeah.
And then at the exact right, you already know the punchline.
yeah,
at the exact right moment, the kids went
Yeah, of
bum
course.
bum bum.
Did they go, so good,
So good. So
Yes.
good. Yes.
And I'm like, how do 5 and 8-year-olds?
It's become a cult anthem. That's why.
Yeah.
Speaking of cults and speaking of anthems,
Yes.
our next guest reached out to me by Messenger on Facebook, and I don't know about you, but I don't do Messenger very well. I sometimes I forget to look at it for months.
No,
And
when I get auto feed and I forget whether it was my inbox from LinkedIn or from Gmail or whatever.
So I miss a lot of messages that way, but eventually I get them. And the first time I got his message, I disregarded it. And it was really because I didn't remember who he was. And I get so much spam that he basically said, hi, I'm Adam Brenner, and I used to be in TKO. And I remember the band TKO. Wasn't Brad Sinsel the singer of TKO? Yeah, good friend, sang a lot of Twisted Tunes. Anyway, I sort of remembered who he was, but he said, I'm coming to Seattle on tour, and I'd like to be on your radio show. And I was like, I don't have a radio show anymore. And so I automatically, if someone requests to be a guest on the radio show, I just tune it out. And so I didn't look at Messenger for a couple weeks. And then a couple weeks later, I see another message, and he goes, could you please respond? And I'm terrible because I get, like, if someone starts pestering me from all the years of being on the radio, I don't even remember the first message, and I didn't respond. And so, like, a few days later, it was like, the least you could do is give me the courtesy of a response. I grew up listening to you and Steve Slayton, and I idolized you guys. And all of a sudden I remembered, oh, shoot, it's that guitarist Adam Baum from TKO. And I'm being a dick. And so anyway, I wrote back to him and I said, man, I don't have a radio show anymore. So when someone asked me to be a guest on it, I'm like, I'm retired. But then I thought, I have this little podcast. Would he even want to be on our podcast? And I thought, well, we have no rules on this podcast. And Adam Baum is like an international guitar hero who's played with, by the way, do you know all the famous people he's played with and all the people who have played with him, Spike, by any chance?
I don't.
I know Catholic priests who played with less people than this guy.
That's a perfect way to introduce him.
What's this fixation today with
Yeah.
Catholicism?
And by the way, not only is he on a world tour now, Europe and U.S., but he's doing a ton of dates in Seattle, and there's no way you can't get on a radio show anymore to do interviews.
No.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome from Seattle, where he is right now, Adam Baum.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Good. We need more light on you. We need to see the hair. Right now, you look like that Queen
let's
album.
see where I can go here.
Yeah. Whoops.
Render.
Actually, we need you to hold the tin foil and sit next to the very window you were just sitting next to.
Surrender.
Yeah. Oh, he looks just like Alice Cooper in the right light. Hang on. There he is. Adam is back.
Young Alice Cooper.
All right.
I apologize if my avocado phone is cutting out. But, apparently, I'm playing more bars in Seattle next week than I have on my phone right now. So,
that's good.
Oh, you see what he did there?
Come on. All right, Adam. First off, thank you for hunting me down. And I'm sorry I was a bit of a jerk to you by ignoring you. But
that's okay. You ignored me for 40 years. It's no problem.
Well,
I know the feeling, by the way. I'm his son, so he doesn't answer my phone calls either.
That's right. Sometimes.
It's okay. The imagination I have is that the room in KSW was some fabulous, palace. It wasn't just a little room with a microphone where, a guy smelling like cigarettes might be in. But
right.
The imagination that you guys gave to kids like me gave a whole new world. And that's what drove me to play rock and roll.
Tell me about that. When you first picked up a guitar, how old were you?
I was 13. I got a guitar from my Aunt Yetta, who worked at Brenner Brothers Bakery. And I went on my bar mitzvah to Israel with my dad. And I loaned that guitar to Chris DeGarmo, who later started Queensryche. We were kids and best friends at the time. And when I got back, he played Over the Hills and Far Away for me over the phone.
Wow.
And I thought it was the record. So I got jealous and said, fuck, I better get, this guitar thing going. And
I'm really glad Downtown Joe isn't on the show because, we have a no F rule when he's on. But you get a special pass.
You're good.
Yeah. Spike's going to put $1 in the jar every time you say it. So
okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's
Spike
okay.
plays with another one of my guitar heroes, Rick Knotts.
Oh, I love Rick, man.
And he was pretty influential for kids like me, as well as the radio stations, just to discover what guitar was about in rock and roll. Not that it was always right. I mean, KSW still plays Bob Seger. And I don't know.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
I love to hear your strut too, but I only seem to hear it when I come here. And there's a certain sort of trick that I don't know. The guys get on the radio and they stay there.
Okay.
And that's the one thing that hasn't changed. The songs on the radio in Seattle and me.
There you go.
That's the only thing I've seen that hasn't changed in Seattle.
Now, I'm not going to ask you how old you are, but boy, you look good. You still look the part. And I went on YouTube to listen to your newest, and we have a video clip of it too, by the way. Hey, Dave, can we play that clip? Whoops.
Yeah, put it in Adam's corner.
I think we can play the clip. I'm going to ask Dave. Dave, are you there? Come on, Dave.
Yes.
Can we play the clip?
Yes, I was giving you the thumbs up down in the window. Play it.
All right. How do I? Oh, there it is. Adam Baum. Okay. Let's see if Adam is back. Hey,
back.
Adam. All right. Don't move because you have 2 bars right where you are. Okay.
Yeah.
How many bars are you playing in Seattle in the next month?
Let's see. I'm playing the Funhouse on March 2nd. On March 4th, I'm playing Tony V's Garage. On March 5th, I'm playing the bar Valley in Tacoma. And on March 6th, we're ending it up at the Seattle Belltown Yacht Club, also known as the Screwdriver Bar, with like a rock and roll acoustic rock and roll party. So it should be pretty good. And then I'm heading down to LA and play the Whiskey.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, you're doing Hollywood. You're doing all kinds of. You're touring all over Europe as well, right?
Oh, that's my real job. I'm just moonlighting touring the States.
Okay.
But I'm doing it for my band because they're young kids, and we just.
So, bummer. It's bad connection. So I think he's doing what a lot of the rock bands are doing, which is as the members of his band die off, he's bringing in younger guitar aficionados. We're gonna get him back. All right. While we wait for him, I'm gonna play you this because I was pretty impressed. I mean, it's a certain kind of guitar playing. Oh, there he is, Adam. All right, stand still. We're gonna play.
Driving from sea to Shining Sea, Long Island to Seattle, down to Hollywood, back down Route 66 towards Nashville, and back up to New York, and then I got to go to Europe and
living the dream.
We're gonna put a link to your schedule on here. I want to play some of your video. We're gonna put a link to your schedule on. Here we go, Adam Baum. Here you go.
Thank you.
Oh, isn't that just awesome? I mean, I can just hear, turn that down coming from upstairs.
What do you want to do with your life?
I want to rock. I want to rock. Oh, that's awesome. Adam, where are you? When was that made? That's recent, right?
Wow.
Oh, I lost. Oh, you got to turn on your, Adam, you got to turn on your microphone. Your microphone is muted. Whoops. There we go.
Here we go.
You're muted.
It's muted. So there's a thing you got to click on that has 3 dots where you can unmute your mic. I love it. He's so far been the most technically proficient of us all tonight.
I like the shaky cam.
And again, this is the last time we can play that before Downtown Joe.
I got to tap.
Oh, yeah.
out.
All right.
You got to go do your show. Spike
I
O'Neill
got to go do radio show.
Go kill
on Cairo every night and mornings and afternoons and every time. All right, be well, my
I'm going to go
friend.
talk like fuck. It's going to be great.
Be careful.
He's all over the board again.
I love you, Spike.
Oh boy.
Unbelievable.
So seriously, Adam is just a slice of heaven, that kind of rocker. And you know, the fact that he was saying some really nice stuff earlier about growing up listening to us and wanting to rock. So before he comes back on, anybody want to guess how old he is?
50.
50?
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you.
You know, I don't want to ask about the hair. I mean, you know.
No, that's not necessary.
That's his hair. That's his hair, though, right?
That's got to be.
He bought it.
Oh, okay. Well, he bought the good
Is it
stuff.
his hair?
Coloring.
Is it his hair like Dolly Parton's? Those are her breasts, or is it his hair like?
Perhaps he's her suit.
I don't know, but it's. I mean,
Look
what
at
a
Zip.
cool video.
She's got more follicles than any other fucking human on the planet.
No, that's the last F word before Joe comes back.
Joe.
But I don't color it.
Zip, you had a high resolution camera last week. What happened?
Oh, he sold it.
You're looking at it. It's the same. I get a bandwidth thing. You're breaking up like crazy and stuff.
Oh, your internet. Yeah.
Anyway.
Zip is on the senior citizen low income internet plan. And he gets his internet for $20 a month. And,
But the Jitterbug phone works great.
I just signed up for Verizon wireless 5G. So
5G,
that'll
look
be
at
the
you.
next experiment.
All right.
I
we'll see what
promise a
happens.
better signal.
All right. Adam Bomb is back. Let's see if he
Oop,
comes.
there he comes.
All right. Before we take off.
He's doing his rush. Where we take off.
Before we take off, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to talk to Adam Baum. Now, hair bands have been hair bands.
All right. Well, we're going to let him circle drain for a little bit there. And thank Andrew for being
Bob,
on.
I needed to ask you one more thing about the commercials on the Super Bowl while we're waiting. Did you see the Elton John triangle one?
I did the triangle commercial. Actually, I didn't think of it as an Elton John commercial. I just thought of it as a triangle commercial that happened to have Elton John in
Well,
it.
but it was good at selling the product. But I mean,
Yeah.
it was a surprise ending.
What
for
was
me.
the product?
It was Doritos.
Oh, Doritos. Yes,
Yeah.
because they're shaped like a triangle. I remember now.
And the fact that, something as insignificant as a triangle. I mean, if you were in school band and you played the triangle, and zip, you did.
Hey.
I'm sure as a percussionist, you
Yeah.
know what a lame instrument that is.
Yep. Hey, I've got my avocado phone and a gold record for playing the triangle right behind me. All right, Adam. Oh. All right, let's take Adam off and see if he comes back. We need faster internet for the world. David. How
Can't help you there.
Yeah. Nothing we can do about
the
that.
world to get
think he's-
faster internet.
I think Adam's got 2 connections to StreamYard or something.
Oh, there he is again. Hold on. Let's see if he's back. Adam?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Wherever you are now in the dark, it's got a good signal. Anyway, we want to thank you. We didn't even name drop all the famous people whose records you've played on and records, but I'm going to put up
John Paul Jones is one. That's all
Yeah.
you need to say. I played with John
Right.
Paul Jones.
Awesome.
Whatever I do, they can't take that away from me.
We're going to put up a link to your gigs and also your Wikipedia page. Adam Baum is a great guitarist with a rich Seattle history. And thank you for harassing me.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. It's an actual honor. I mean, like I said, I grew up listening to you and Steve and from KJR, which was my first radio station, to FM 100 and then KZOK. It's an honor to be back in Seattle talking on my shitty phone on the radio.
It's okay.
The podcast.
And by the way, you have a lot of youthful energy and you have a band of younger players with you right now. You're going to do this forever, aren't you?
Till the day I die. Like my dad, he stayed in the bakery business. He did what he did. I've kind of been in a bubble. I'm still the same kid that played in TKO or even before that with Jeff Tate. And I'm still not getting paid and doing the same crap. So, but it's the life I chose. And I'm happy to do it. And I'm really happy to come back to Seattle and rock. So if anybody out there's listening, want to come back and see what it was like in 1978 or 1982, come check out my band at one of these shows in the Seattle area.
All right. It's impolite of me to ask, but I'm going to ask. Well, I'm not going to ask. It's like you can't ask a woman how old she is. You probably can't ask a
I'll be
hairband
60
rocker.
on August 14th, I was born in 1963, so I'll be 60 this year.
You look marvelous.
Thanks. Well, it's the drugs.
I saw a YouTube. It's the drugs. Yeah, of course it is. Branding. It's all about branding. Yeah. I saw a YouTube video that said your girlfriend broke up with you. Was that recently? Are you?
Yeah, I was heartbroken. She, but I don't know.
Got her number?
I think her parents didn't like that she was dating somebody twice her age. But we were together 6 years. But she took my dog, and that's what really hurt. But
Scandalous.
I have him. This is Pip, the world's most traveled dog in the world. He's been everywhere, and he goes everywhere with me. And in a few hours, we are going on a plane to New York City.
Awesome.
Cool.
So, ladies, if you're watching, you have a shot. Adam Baum.
Yeah, but they have to be dog lovers.
All right, that's true.
They only seem to want the dog and not me.
They have to be rock dog lovers, too.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Adam, thank you so much.
Adam.
And kind words are very much appreciated. And it's rockers
Keep
like
flying
you
the flag of rock and roll.
Let me know when you're in Detroit.
Absolutely. And Zip knows. Zip's a rocker who still tours and plays. He's in the Rolodex bands and does gigs. He's actually a pretty incredible drummer. If you're ever in Massachusetts and your drummer has a heart attack, I'll give you Zip's number.
I've been through so many drummers. I had a bass player that made a good fortune off of printing up "I fucking hate drummer" T-shirts. So,
All right, that's wonderful.
This is the secret to Zip's success. He is a dependable drummer.
Yeah.
Guys who spank are hard to depend on.
they are.
All right, Adam Baum, everybody. Let's
know
give
where
him a
the
big
one
round of
is.
applause.
Adam.
All right,
Okay.
thank you so much, Adam. Take care.
Thank you guys.
All right, that was fun.
He's
Andrew,
just
this
got
must
great
be
energy.
really interesting for you. A little bit like going to an old folks home or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna send this video into the state, see if they'll give me credit for community service and pay off my speeding tickets instead. You know?
He does have BDE though, doesn't he? No doubt about it.
All right.
Meals on wheels. There you
Yeah, you've got the exciting career now, Andrew. Out of all of us, where are you next? I saw you have a pretty big schedule. Just throw a few.
Sure. Well,
cities
I'm in Texas this week. If anybody's in Texas,
I'm in
please
Texas.
come to the show. I'm selling really well locally, which is fantastic. I mean, all my shows in the Washington, Oregon area are selling out, and so I'm gonna kind of focus on that. And and I think it has a lot to do with your fame, which is still lingering, throughout the city.
Are you still riding Daddy's coattails,
people,
son?
yeah, I mean, people still message me on Facebook. I got a message. I sent it to the group chat, but I don't know if anyone. Someone said, "I'm sorry about your dad dying," and I
saw
thought
that.
it was
Yeah.
so funny.
Oh wow.
But your sister got mad at me for posting it, and so
Yeah.
I
Well,
remember when the video was
But a lot of people ask how you are, and I think it's very sweet, and I love it. And I noticed a trend that whenever I tell young people that you had cancer, they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And whenever I tell old people, they go, "What were his symptoms?" It's a very distinct.
Who was his doctor?
And
That's
so
wonderful.
I go,
Yeah.
I say, "Oh, it was esophageal." So he started having trouble swallowing, and without fail, they start swallowing, and they go, yeah. And they're still trying to pretend to have a conversation. And
But right now they're worried about their own symptoms. And by the way,
Yes.
that happens when you get older. When someone gets sick, you go, "I have a pain just like that." It's there's a psychological term for it. I forget what it is.
Well, it's like
I know
seeing
that-
someone your color break the world record for swimming or whatever. You go, "Oh, I can do it too." And then when
'Cause
your
I'm
friend
white.
gets cancer, you're like, "Oh, that could be me too." You know? So,
yeah.
Is the term pathetic fallacy you're talking about?
Don't know. I thought it was a sympathetic
Symptomatic.
pain. Sympathetic symptoms or something like that. But someone will know and text it in the comments.
I would like to
at some
start
point.
messing with people, just to see how. Oh yeah, one of his symptoms was he was having trouble standing on one leg, and just see how long it takes for them to start leaning a little bit.
Well, I think it's. I don't look. I'm very blessed. I had successful surgery. Just to update anyone who's cares, and I've had several great scans in a row. And if you know anybody who's been through this, you just get scanned every 4 months, and knock on wood. But every day is precious. I mean, we're all mortal beings. I don't want to break that to you, but many people who've had something serious will tell you that it makes them, in some ways, happier because every day becomes more precious. Every podcast, every 6 inches your kid's hair grows. I mean, that's
you learn to appreciate the people in your
well, I can't believe I got to see his hair that long. I only expected to get to see it this long, and it's really it's been wonderful. And I have something in common with Paul McCartney. People thought I was dead. There were several of those.
I killed Bob.
Yes, there were, and I'm very. I guess very much into the Serenity Prayer, very accepting about it, but also very grateful. Every week I look forward to you guys and doing this little podcast, and we have these thousands of people. It's no longer hundreds of thousands of people, but we have these thousands of people that enjoy it. And that's a blessing. So to
Truly is.
all of you, if you're still here through all of that, thank you. And also,
You mean through the show or just their life?
no,
Like-
everything that happened
Okay.
today. I mean, if you're that much of our friends that you're still here, it is much appreciated. And also, I do want to mention this: maple syrup goes on sale.
I don't give a crap.
Hank started boiling today, and I.
Where the hell is Bob?
Well, I know he was like that. Well, the season's early by a couple of weeks. I'm flying out there in a week and a half. But he and I did everything by video together. So I'm watching the releaser. I'm helping him set up the evaporator. And we're both trying to remember how stuff works that we forget from year to year. Right. And he did an incredible job. Hank Prouty, let's give it up for Hank Prouty.
Hank.
He's boiling. He's probably just about finished now on the first boil of the season. And yes, the store for maple syrup will be opening in the next day or so. And if you want to make sure you're there, it sells out, but it ain't no Taylor Swift situation.
You're not going to crash the servers.
It won't crash Ticketmaster.
I
But
think
you,
she's sweeter.
the pre-sale will sell out usually within a week or so. And so if you're interested, just go to bobrivers.blog or bobrivers.com and sign up for our email, and you'll get some syrup. And thanks again, especially again to our web developer and executive producer, David Lee, who helps with that. So, should we play Adam Bomb's video one more time?
Unless you want to hear my damn story that you didn't mention, you bastard.
Oh, no. We have to end with your story. We started. Ed Kelley met a lady in a thrift store.
Yes, that true Scotsman.
Was she used gently or was she looking for a second home?
No.
Okay.
But
On consignment, was she?
Funkenstein, yeah.
So you're in a thrift store because?
That's what my sister and I do. We're just
You're a Scot, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why? I need to set up this Mac Mini that I need a wired keyboard. I'm not going to the computer store and paying $100 for it when I can get one for $3. That's just the way I am.
You're going to get a Mac keyboard,
Mac Mini.
a Mac
I
Mini,
bought a
but
Mac
you're
Mini,
but
but
you're going to thrift store for electronics.
For the keyboard, because it won't accept a wireless because it's a few years old. It won't take a wireless keyboard. You have to use a wired keyboard to set it up.
Oh, you're still using the old Mac Mini.
No, I just got it. It's an older Mac Mini, but I just got it.
Oh.
But they're perfect for voice
For
work
what you're going to do. Yeah.
as
And
I'm
when you
sure so-
travel, you're going to be able to.
No, I'm going to use it and then probably just put it in the drawer somewhere.
And by
When
the
you're
way,
meeting a lady, do you do a different voice? Say,
Well,
like,
here's
this is what's coming up. This is the story.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
let's set it up for him. So he goes into a thrift store because he's a cheap Scottish person.
Cheap Scott, yes.
And he's trying to find computer stuff. And you run into a lady who has to tell you something.
who walks up with a movie and it's got French on it because everything's in French and English in Canada. And I don't know if it's a French movie or if it's just, Canadian labeling, but it's got Liam Neeson on the front of it. And she says, "Does anybody ever tell you that you look just like this guy?" And I have gotten that. And everybody, as you said, Bob, earlier, says that you look like somebody else.
You do look like Liam Neeson.
Yeah, and I'm Irish on my grandmother's side, so I get it. So I said,
I know what
yeah,
you
do get
start
it.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I said,
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If it's money, I don't have any.
and she says, "Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you."
She didn't know the lines.
She was not familiar with the
Keep
movie.
keep going. I don't know who you are.
If it's money, I don't have any. But what I do have is a very particular set of skills.
And then when I saw her freaking out, I said, No, that's him.
That's a Liam Neeson. And I'm doing. So she only knew his face from movie posters. That could have backfired. Was she?
Security.
Oh, that's funny.
Was she too old for you? Anyway.
She probably would have been about my age or older, but
Okay, yeah, that's
I
way
tell you
too
what,
old.
meeting
for
a
you.
lady in a thrift shop is good because she already has low standards. She's,
it's like a girl with a tattoo. You know she's capable of making bad decisions.
Yeah,
and
and
you're
any
in.
given
that would
day.
be one of them. Yeah,
That's funny.
she's willing to take home broken things, and there you are.
Ouch.
That's
Screw
nice,
you,
though.
Rivers.
That is nice. Did you calm her down?
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
fixing.
It ended up that her husband has been ill for a couple of years, and she buys movies at thrift stores because he goes through a lot of them.
Wow.
I said, nah,
And she thought Liam Neeson was shopping right next to her. which is very cool.
What I should have said is, let me call your husband.
That's wonderful. She would like that. All right. How
How'd
is
you like
Lizzie,
my
by the
movies?
way? We haven't seen your better half.
She's a rock dog, man. She's outperforming the men. She keeps getting promoted because she's moving, stage gear that's 100 pounds a panel, down at the Little Caesars Arena and all the rock venues. And
For anybody who doesn't know, she's a roadie.
yeah.
But a stay-at-home roadie. So when rock shows come to town, she works.
Well, no, she goes state to
traveling?
state. Yeah, she's traveling. She's mostly Ohio and Michigan, but her friends went and did the Super Bowl. They set up the Super Bowl. Wow. Yeah, a lot of them.
But she didn't.
No, she didn't. She didn't go. She's doesn't like to travel long.
But she loves being a roadie.
Oh, she's just loving life right now. She's digging it.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good. She's
'Cause
awesome.
She's a
by the way.
musician. She's a violinist and plays everything. So
Yeah.
this is right up her alley.
She should be part of your act. She should come on with the small violin. She should have a tiny violin whenever you want to complain about something. It'd be awesome.
Great.
All right.
She's not into small things, Bob.
All right. I believe, the time is perfect, and we've had a great time. I've had a
Throw an
great
anchor
time.
on the end like that.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for listening and viewing. We appreciate it. You can email us anytime, show@bobandzip.com. Next week, Downtown Joe will make an appearance. There will be no F words.
No F words. If there are, you're going to have to deal with me.
And I respect him so much. I'm going to try not to do it. It's just that right after I agreed not to do it, we booked Adam Baum
Yeah.
and his song Rock as
Rock
F.
like fuck. Yeah.
I know, it's just like it's sort of like a New Year's resolution. Like, well, we'll start tomorrow.
Bag of Doritos. Yeah.
Playing the triangle.
We're on the commercial. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're a patron and you want me to answer your phone, let me know.
Yes, go to
very
bobrivers.com/Patreon
particular set of
and contribute. And Ed will do a phone machine as Liam Neeson or Mr. Haney.
Ozzy Osbourne, if you like, but nobody understands what the hell I'm saying.
Ozzy was in the Super Bowl. He's relevant.
I'm saying, I'm still here. I'm singing better than ever, man. I'm the simple like Sabbath anymore.
That's your moment of Oz.
The Bob and Zip Show.